Hey guys, I'm bringing you guys a short little video this time. It's not going to be like a 30-minute long video or anything like that, but it's another Auxbeam lighting product that I'm installing on my Tacoma today because, I mean, it's Saturday, nothing to do, and I thought it'd be a cool little video to show because, I mean, I don't think anyone's shown this product yet, but it's also a very unique product. So, as you can tell, you've read the description there, it's a 48-inch warning light strip. So what is that exactly? Well, I mean, I've only tested it out just to see what it looked like, but so here it is here. So it's a good 48 inches. It's about an inch thick, I think. So like, or not inch thick, but an inch width. So it's not like your standard little tailgate light that you can usually get. That's maybe a half inch. So it's a little bit bigger. It's very flexible. It's got a nice 3M backing tape on it, and basically it's just a different style tailgate bar. So this one has like arrows, as you can see. It's got arrows directional left and right. The really cool thing that I saw on this is that it has a very unique hazard light to it, which you'll see at the very end when I fully install this into my truck. But it's sequential lighting. I believe there is a reverse light on this too, if I'm remembering correctly. Well, like I said, I'll show you guys all that when it's installed, but I'm just gonna get right into it here and then we can talk a little bit more here, but I thought I'd just show you guys the product of how it is. It's, like I said, very flexible. It's a little bit bigger than your average tailgate bar, but I mean, for the most part, you'll be able to fit it. And then it doesn't have a 4-pin or anything because, like I said, it's a warning light, so you're meant to hook it up as you want. But it's got a, let's see, we got power, ground, yellow, green, and blue. So I believe the yellow and green is your signals, blue is your reverse light, then you got ground, and then this is the main power, which is going to be your, this is the unique warning light. So this will be really cool when you guys see it. This thing is fairly bright too. Like there's LEDs, there's 5 LEDs. So 5 LEDs per arrow. So, and I mean, I don't know how many arrows are here, but there's a lot. But right there is where it splits off, obviously like right in the middle. So yeah, it's really cool, and I thought I'd do a little quick video on this and show you guys what it's all about. So let's get right into it. And just before I start the video, I thought I'd just show you guys that I did have an old light, tailgate light bar here. I got it off of Amazon for like 40 bucks Canadian, so like 20 some bucks US. And half the LEDs failed on the one side, so it was garbage basically, and I ripped it all off. The reverse light still worked, and it was a cheap generic tailgate bar. I mean, like, you could pretty much find them anywhere to get for cheap. And I directly wired this into my truck. I will try and find the write-up. I'll post a screenshot of it on the chat or on the video here in a second, so you guys can see exactly how we wired it up. It will vary on every tailgate bar you have and for what you have, because like the one I had, I actually didn't have parking lights with it, or sorry, it was either parking lights or brake lights. I couldn't have both, so like I could turn it on so it goes on with my lights, but then when I hit the brakes, it'd do nothing. Instead, I went with the brake lights because I'm better off with the brake lights obviously there. So it's a little different on the wiring for every single one you do. But I'll post it up so you guys can see on how we directly wire it to this truck, because you can't just go off of each taillight and call it a day. You actually have to use some of the trailer harness, otherwise it just won't function properly. So now I'm gonna get right into it here, and this is probably gonna take me like hours because I suck at wiring. So I've been making good progress here. It's probably like 2 or 3 hours later. I don't even remember when I first started this, but I was having issues getting things rolling here and then figuring out the wiring, because like I said, I had an old tailgate bar in here, so I was trying to figure out all my wiring, using a testing probe for that there, and got it all figured out. So driver's side tail is out because I was having issues trying to find my brake wire. Not sure what was going on, just couldn't figure it out, but I ended up kind of cutting up my old harness that I had from the tailgate bar before. Don't need all the accessories that it came with and stuff like that. So there is no reverse lights on this bar here, but I just put it in place because I realized that I'm kind of ready to go to just solder all of my wires on and whatnot there. So I just kind of stuck it on there. The biggest thing, I guess, for me putting it on here was whether or not I wanted to put it on the lip here or put it on this bottom lip. And I just realized I'm just going to follow the same body line kind of thing as the last one and just put it on there. That way it sits more flush and it's, you know, kind of hidden away. It's not sitting out on the edge there that can get all grummed up and stuff like that. Putting it on is quite easy. It's quite thick. It was a little hard for me to determine how to actually squish this down, but it worked out nicely. I mean, you just kind of push on the board there and keep going over it a few times and it sticks instantly. Make sure before you obviously put this on, grab some methyl hydrate or something and clean it, and then immediately put it on, and it seems to help tack it down a lot easier. That's how I've been putting on all my 3M products, and I never have a problem. As for fitment wise, I kind of left a gap here on this edge. I didn't obviously slide it over enough because when you come here and look at my tailgate hole, or my spare tire hole, there's the dead center, obviously, and then there's like kind of center there. So I'm off going to the driver's side, probably another like 1/4 inch, I guess. But I also didn't want to go too far over here and then start worrying about the wires being pinched up against this plate or anything. But, so I mean, it's quite easy to install. So that's a plus. So now I'm going to wire this all up, get this all fine and dandy, and then I'll talk about how I wired it up. And like I said, you guys can just go based off of that screenshot that I show you there. And then I'll show you the output of this thing. It's pretty damn bright. I dig it. So I'm playing around with this tailgate light, right? And I'm filling around, testing all of it, making sure everything works. It is really different. Trying to figure out how you want it. So I've got my brake light set up with it, right? That's all wired up nicely there, so as soon as you hit the brakes, it lights up the whole thing. It's kind of just a little sequential when you hit the brakes there. I'll show you that shortly. But the thing is right now, so there's a green wire and a blue wire that are your turn signals, right? And so hooking those up, the signals are weird. I'm almost debating on not even putting these in as turn signals. I might just make this a straight hazard light. But putting them in as a signal light, so you got the middle here, it goes about 3/4 of the way, and every time your blinker goes like, you know, clicks off and on, within that off period, it's actually blinking red, but it's also still got a sequential turn signal, so it's kind of a mix there. I'm going to show you guys here that in a second, just to kind of give you a full taste. I'm not sure how I'm going to 100% wire this yet, because when I hit the hazard lights, you know, because I run all these emergency lights from on the side of the road, turn those on, and it's got a nice fast sequential hazard there. I'll show you that here in 2 seconds. But then I tapped my power wire for the special mode for the hazards, where it's like it's a really cool mode. It just slows down your hazard lights. So the only way I could actually have this running is if my tail lights are not actually flashing. So I'm going to show you that, guys, right here, right now, just to kind of give you an idea, and then I'm going to get back to figuring out what way I want it. So I'm thinking a lot here. It's probably not a good thing. I've got everything wired up again. I'm playing with it a little bit, trying to understand it. I mean, you guys see the testing lights there. What I did was I hooked it up to my hazard light switch, one of my plugins I have here. And then I hooked up my signal lights just so I can see if maybe it matters on how you start it. You know, if you hit the hazard lights first. So, because I have a separate rocker switch for my hazard lights, so I hit that switch, the special mode would turn on, and then, you know, if I hit my hazards from factory, it would be fine. But it doesn't seem that way. So what I'm gonna do is show you guys what's happening here. Just so I'm probably gonna all wire it up just normally and see what happens. But so you guys know, I think I showed you there before, but here's the special mode. So here's like the output of it. It's really cool. So it goes from in to out, So it does about, so that's twice there, right? Here's 3 times. And then afterwards it starts in the middle. So every 3 times it switches modes. So that's that, right? But the problem I have here is as soon as I hit my actual hazard lights, boom, click on my flashers, it just switches this, it basically overrides it. But what it does is that it knocks down the voltage so that it runs the same. So, because now if I turn off my, so you see how like it's blinking like that? It's in sync. Turn off my other hazard lights, it does this. It's faster. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. I think I'm gonna wire it all up and then I'm gonna see if I can eventually figure out a solution to this. Okay guys, so it's done to the best that I could do. Probably my buddy's gonna end up, Snowball, I guess, as you guys see in the other videos, and my partner in this. He's the one that usually does all the wiring for me. I mean, I'm not bad, but I mean, there's just some things that I'm lazy about, or I can't do the things that he does apparently. So it's a little imperfection here. So, but I'm just gonna take a seat here. My legs are numb. So everything's wired up. It's working 100%. Nothing's different about it. Nothing's fancy. I guess the only biggest thing is there is no fuse to this. But I mean, at the same time, if something blows, you got factory fuses and all the stuff that you wire these things to. So I mean, you don't really need a fuse, but if you want to, you can add one in between it, obviously. I mean, it's hard to say how you would add a fuse, though. I mean, you'd have to run one wire to all these power wires then, and then, you know, put it through that. So, I mean, if you want to do that extra work, go ahead. But otherwise, you know, you got your red wire here. That's your special mode. You don't have to have that hooked up if you don't want for this thing, but I mean, it's there and it's cool. You'll see it how it is at night there. I have it wired to my hazards here with these switches, and I'm actually in the process of switching out these to the Auxbeam hazard ones here. These ones are 12 LEDs in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the top, and then 6 on the bottom. And 12 LEDs and 12 watts each, if I'm remembering that correctly there. Or I think they put out actually 36 watts total. So therefore they're putting out 8, 16, 24, 9 watts each, 9 watts. So, I mean, it's like 0.75 amp per LED there, just an FYI. So I put these in here now. These are replacing some Amazon ones I had. They're good, they're working fine, but I'm just switching them out because they're not as bright. These are way brighter than those, these other ones here that I've got rolling around here. These ones are 6 LEDs as well, but just in a longer strand of it, obviously. These ones are more spread out. But yeah, so anyways, I wired it to this all together so that the special mode would work with my hazard lights. So when I flip on the switch, they all work together there. So that's how I wired that. That's your negative. I ran it with the plug there just to make it simple. Then, like I said, you got your green and blue that are your turn signals, and for that you wire it into the trailer harness. I'm wondering if maybe that's what I'm having problems with, is that I'm using the trailer harness instead of the actual taillights. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how picky this thing is, but I mean, if you wire this up, then maybe just try doing each taillight and see what it does for you. But in regards to tailgate bars for the Tacomas, usually for when you have like those other ones out there, like the Op7 or whatever, they need to be wired in to your trailer harness. Otherwise, they just won't work, I guess. Like I said, just read the screenshot. It'll show you everything there. So then your yellow wire is your brake lights. Or you can put it as a parking light if you want, but I mean, it's not going to bright up anymore. I already tried that, and it definitely doesn't have any lower voltage or anything. So it doesn't work like that, but otherwise, it's pretty simple to wire this thing up. I mean, it takes you no time at all. Except for me, this is probably at least, you know, I've been on this for about 5 hours. I had some hiccups here and there. I was also taking my time, but yeah, so, I mean, that's usually the process that it goes. You know, we say it only takes an hour, but usually it ends up being about half a day because that's how we work. So, but otherwise, it's all good and fine and dandy. I will have to do my testing outside at night for you guys now, so you have to wait till it gets dark, because I actually almost killed my battery by doing all these testings and stuff like that. So turning on the hazards and this and that. So I'm gonna finish up this little hazard light here, and then I'm gonna show you guys how bright this thing is at night. It's got a really cool pattern. Obviously, I'm kind of curious to see how that's gonna portray at night there. So we're gonna go to darkness, and then that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think of this thing, and comment below if you would want to get one of these or not. I am a distributor for Auxbeam now as well, so I can also help you guys in the States if you guys want some hookups there. So if you want to hook up, comment below, let me know, and I'll try and help you out as best I can. We also have 48-inch tailgate bars as well, not just this, so there's that option too. Have a good one, guys.